Welcome everyone, Chag Sameach. It's very nice to see so many of you here with us for our first ever virtual Lag BaOmer. We're excited to see everyone, and we have a really lovely program ahead for all of us. So, to begin the program, we'd like to welcome Rabbi Gail Pomerantz, who is going to give us an introduction into Lag BaOmer.
Hi everybody, Chag Sameach. I can't see you all. I see this beautiful bonfire, but I don't see all your pictures. It's come to join us for this holiday. So I want to orient you as to what Lag BaOmer is. We are in this period known as the counting of the Omer, which is the 49 days between Passover and Shavuot. And in fact, just in last week's Torah portion and more, we got the instructions for the counting of the days between Passover and Shavuot. And originally these were agricultural holidays, and the Omer was actually a sheaf of barley that would be counted in this period of 49 days. But eventually, this connection became more spiritual because on Passover we celebrate our freedom, the freedom of Jewish race. And on Shavuot, reading the Torah.
What type of fire?
Could we maybe mute the participants?
We are.
Thank you. So as we celebrate the period between Passover and Shavuot, we're moving from that freedom to actually accepting responsibility. Our tradition teaches us that we weren't free simply for the sake of freedom, but rather free to wholeheartedly embrace God's Torah. Lag BaOmer, Lag means 33 because in Hebrew, every single letter has a numerical value. So Lamed is 30 and Gimel is 3. Lag BaOmer is the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer. And this was celebrated because there was a period of mourning, which I know one of the other rabbis is going to speak about more. But there was a period of mourning because of a plague, sound familiar, which then ended on the 33rd day. And so it was on that day that people got haircuts and celebrated weddings and had bonfires, as we see on our screen, and rejoiced for this period of time. So that is my general introduction to the counting of the Omer and the significance of Lag BaOmer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rabbi. It's so nice to have you with us. I hope you don't go too close to the fire. The fire is really booming right now, and everyone, if you have potatoes and onions, that's what's done in Israel. So throw them into the fire, and in about a half hour, we'll take it out and we'll eat those potatoes and onions. And of course, if you have s'mores at home, you should do that as well. And now it's our privilege to welcome the one and only Mason to lead us in a few Lag BaOmer songs.
Wow, I am so excited to be here. You know, I love every excuse for a good campfire. It's actually a little chilly in my house, so I'm just going to warm myself by our fire. You know, I've chosen a couple of my all-time favorite campfire songs to sing with everybody tonight. Are you ready? Adama ושמיים, חום האש, צליל המים, אני מרגיש זאת בגופי, ברוחי, בנשמתי. אדמה ושמיים, חום האש, צליל המים, אני מרגיש זאת בגופי, ברוחי, בנשמתי. Love the earth of the sky, heat of fire, sound of water. I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. I love that song. I'm just going to check. How's the sound?
Good.
I see Cantor Siegel sending me. Oh, great. Okay, awesome. All right, we're going to move on to our next song. This is just one of my favorites, not only for Campfire, but in life. So it was originally Harry Belafonte, and you may even remember he did this piece with a bunch of Jim Henson's Muppets. So this is Turn the World Around. Come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. So this is a really easy piece. The next verse is water. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. Mountain, join me. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. And as we count up towards Shavuot, we'll add another verse, Torah. We come from the Torah, living in the Torah. Go back to the Torah, turn the world around. We come from the Torah. Go back to the Torah, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around.
Thanks, Mason. Wonderful music for this festive holiday of Lag BaOmer. And you know, there's some important people that we should know about when we learn about Lag BaOmer. And the first one we're going to learn about is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, this wonderful mystical figure. And to let us know about it, let's hear from Rabbi Davis.
So in the spring of 1987, I found myself in the holy city of Tzfat for Passover with our friends Gabi and Tina Nachmani. And on the morning after Pesach, I said to Gabi, I said, are we going to go down to the Sea of Tiberias, and which we know is in Hebrew is Kinneret, is the name of the sea. And so I said in my best Hebrew, can we go down to the Kinneret? And his little 3-year-old son looked at me and went, Kinneret, Kinneret. Because in Hebrew, you're supposed to roll your R's. And I said, okay, well, how about if we go to Mount Meron? And this little kid went, Meron. Anyway, these two places, Tzfat and Mount Meron, are very important in the story of Shimon Bar Yochai. because the tradition has it. This is what Gabi said. He said to me that the holy city of Sfat is filled with rabbis saying great important things all the time. And he said that one rabbi said, once in a while, you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right. Now, I looked at my friend Gabi and I said, I don't think that was a rabbi. I actually think that's a verse from the Grateful Dead, from one of the Grateful Dead songs. And he said, well, it's possible, but that is exactly the story of Shimon Bar Yochai and Mount Meron. Has to do with seeing light and looking for it, perhaps even in a strange place. It was the famous Rabbi Luria of Sfat, great mystic, who instituted an annual pilgrimage to Mount Meron each year. And I don't know, they said Gabi told me that like 10,000 people would go to Mount Meron on Lag BaOmer, and they would light bonfires and they would celebrate and they would dance. And when I went online to look a little bit more about Mount Meron, they estimate, probably not this year, that 500,000 people go. That it is among the largest gatherings that take place in Israel is on Lag BaOmer around this festival. And why did they go to Mount Meron? They went to celebrate the light of Torah, which I'll talk about in a moment, and to celebrate the salvation from a devastating plague. The Talmud indicates that there was perhaps 24,000 of the disciples of the famous Rabbi Akiva that died in this plague, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was among those that survived. Lag BaOmer and Meron, in a sense, is all about light. And there are two different types of light that we deal with on Lag BaOmer today. One is this mystical light. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai taught about this because it's said that today is the anniversary of his death. And he revealed on this day the deepest secrets of the mystical part of our tradition of the Kabbalah. And when he delivered those secrets, it was said to be surrounded by a fiery light. We have that fiery light, or a version of that fiery light, in front of us. And that's why there is this tradition of lighting bonfires on this day, not just the light of celebration of getting out of of surviving a pandemic of sorts, but the mystical light that comes through a sense of heightened existence and enlightenment in the world. And since Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is buried at Mount Meron, massive numbers of people go there each year to dance and to celebrate with light and commemorate this great teacher. The light that Rabbi Shimon brought into the world was a specific type of light. We're taught that it had to do with inner teaching, not the teaching that's outside of us, but the teaching that's within inside of us, that's geared towards a deeper, more spiritual aspect of our lives that are sometimes hidden right before our eyes. The Talmud teaches that this plague that afflicted the students of Rabbi Akiva, that it was on this day that that plague stopped. It should be on this day that the coronavirus stops as well. This year, not another year, but right now. And this year in particular, I think we're all limited by the way in which we're having to respond to this virus. And in thinking about the idea of Rabbi Akiva's students, I believe takes on a deeper relevance. We cannot go out as much as we want to, but we can certainly go further in. We can look at our lives. We can look at the nature of our existence. We can we do integrate the ideas of Rabbi Shimon and Jewish mysticism into our own lives on Lag BaOmer. Maybe not by visiting Meron and celebrating it with bonfires in Israel, but we can certainly take this opportunity that life has given us in a bizarre way for introspection and reflection. In the Zohar, the Jewish mystical teaching that is oftentimes attributed to Shimon Bar Yochai, he says that most of the conversations of importance that exist between people, and specifically it's taught that the conversations that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had with people, the way that he taught was not in a classroom, but it was said walking by the way. That most of the teachings that we need in life are not learned in the classroom, but rather they're learned when we walk by the way and we allow our inner light to shine upon that which we see to reveal the lessons that we need to learn. May this wisdom, this insight, this sense of a beautiful light illustrated or illuminated by the light be for us not a destination, but a process of further illuminating our own existence and making our world a little bit brighter. It should be so on this holy day that all of us find a little bit more inner light and outer light.
Wonderful. Rabbi Davis, thank you so much. You know, when you talk about Tzfat, you know, we have two of our wonderful members and leaders of our congregation, Dr. Mark Revo and Karen Revo, who live in Tzfat. They have a home in Tzfat, and they spend a lot of time there, and they keep coming back and saying how beautiful it is up there. And so we think of them as we talk about the beautiful city of Tzfat. You also mentioned the bonfires that thousands of people go to. Well, this year in Israel, because of the situation, the government forbid gatherings to have these bonfires. That being said, there were still groups that got together and got in trouble for it. But usually tonight, it's a night where people stay up, they sing around around the bonfires all over Israel. So another very important figure in the story of Lag BaOmer is Rabbi Akiva. And to hear a wonderful story and more about Rabbi Akiva, we're very pleased to welcome Rabbi Leuben. Rabbi?
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be by this bonfire with you all. I just wish that I had brought my s'mores with me, but I only have the graham crackers. I accidentally ate all the marshmallows and chocolate after our last bonfire with Mini Beshti. So I also want to just quickly mention, Rabbi Davis, your story is about Gabi Nachmani and his wife Tina, who became Tova Leah, and they moved to Jerusalem, and she was my first Torah teacher at Pardes with Josh Lawrence, who we also have on the call. So I thought I'd give a shout out to the Nachmanis, as apparently they both are great teachers. Evidently, this is clear. So this story is also about Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Davis, you mentioned that the Lag BaOmer is celebrating, this is the plague went on for 33 days, and 24,000 students of the great teacher of Rabbi Akiva died during this plague, and on this day, finally, the plague halted. We, of course, know all about what it means to live in the era of a plague, but I thought what it would be nice to learn about a little bit more about is this Rabbi Akiva, is this teacher during the time of the plague. And I can only imagine how difficult this must have been for him, especially, you know, with us living through the pandemic that we're living through. And they didn't even have Zoom back then, so he was probably not able to teach his Zoom classes, unfortunately, or even have a Zoom bonfire. So I really wonder what teaching looked like then. But he never stopped. Rabbi Akiva, he grew up a shepherd and wanted to marry a woman named Rachel. They moved to Jerusalem, but her father was of very high importance and wanted to make sure that Rabbi Akiva, if he was going to marry, his name was just Akiva then, if he was going to marry his daughter, that he was going to actually become a scholar. I keep calling him Rabbi. Akiva was 40 years old at the time, already 40, and didn't know how to read or write in any language, and specifically not Hebrew. And I don't know how many of you went to Hebrew school. I would imagine most people on this call have been through Hebrew school. It's not easy to learn how to read or write in Hebrew, and he did it. He made sure it was so important to him that not only did he do it, but he did it so he became one of the greatest teachers in history, and he started at 40. So it's never to keep learning, that's for sure. But he was studying. He's one of the greatest teachers that we have in our tradition, and he was studying the law of what it means to keep kosher. And in the Torah, he noticed that it was so interesting because Moses knew what all the animals' insides and outsides looked like. He knew which animals were kosher on what their outsides were, which we could all kind of see, you know, do they have split hooves and things like that, but also insides, like how did they chew their cud? And Rabbi Akiva thought about this because this is, of course, at the time before we really had so much in terms of science and evidence and people researching and biologists and everything like that. So he thought, I wonder, he asked his class, I wonder, was Moses a hunter? Is that how he knew? Is that how he knew the insides of all of the animals? And of course, it was a rhetorical question because I don't know how many of you have read every part of Moses' story, but he, in no time in the Torah does it say that he was a hunter. In no time does it say that he had, that would have taken a lifetime of skill. We do have other people in the Torah that it mentions that that they were hunters, but not Moses. It doesn't say Moses is a hunter, and it's really a skilled profession. So it would at some point. It takes a long time to learn how to be a hunter. And so Rabbi Akiva really asked this question knowing that the answer was no. And knowing that the answer instead was that he got this information, he understood this knowledge through God, because God really was the one who created the world. And it is Moses that was able to see all of these things because he really did have an eye out for what God was telling him. He was really listening. And Rabbi Akiva was the same way. He was always looking at every single detail, at every single letter of the Torah. Everything that he did, he wanted to make sure that he saw where God was in all of those letters and all of those stories. And what I really believe this story teaches to us is that there really is God in everything. And just as Rabbi Davis was saying, that in this particular moment after, this time we're in the Omer, and we're coming to Lag BaOmer, and we finally can stop our mini period of mourning, that we actually can see the light. We can allow this flame to allow it to illuminate the world for us. And especially in this time where it can be difficult to see the good things, we can all take a lesson from Rabbi Akiva and really be our own and really look for God everywhere in the world. So think about where it is that you might be seeing God today. And I hope you all have a beautiful experience celebrating Lag BaOmer.
Wonderful. Rabbi Leubman, thank you so much. And it's nice to have some of our ninth graders with us, and I think some of our confirmands. So welcome, and your teachers that are here with us. Many years ago, I lived on a kibbutz where Nava's from, and we used to work out in the fields. And one of the guys, a guy named Benny Franco, used to make a small bonfire, not a bonfire, but a small fire. And he'd put this little coffee pot, a little silver coffee pot with a handle, and he put Turkish coffee on the bottom, and he'd put it on the fire. And it's almost like a Cuban coffee, the way they make it here, but it's roasted over the fire. And to sing a song about that coffee pot called Finjan and other famous bonfire songs in Hebrew, we have the one and only, the legendary cantor Lisa Siegel with us. Cantor.
Oh, thank you so much. So, when I think about the bonfires and Lag BaOmer, I think the first thing that goes to my mind are the days of the Chalutzim. And that's an expression that one hears in Israel, and it evokes images of young people in shorts coming to Israel starting in the late 1800s to drain the swamps, plant fruit, and dance the hora in the evening after they were done working, to many, many melodies that became very famous in that era. So halutzim is the Hebrew word for pioneers, and that movement started really after the Russian pogroms in the late 1800s. And there was a movement that encouraged young people to leave Eastern Europe and go to Israel, go to Palestine at that time to cultivate the land and prepare the way for less robust populations to make Aliyah there. And so this movement at that time was called Hechalutz, which means the pioneer. And again, as I said, it's really marked by various melodies that were used in those days, melodies that people sang and danced to. So I thought I would do a couple of them. One of them that came to mind right away was what Mark mentioned, Hafin John, the coffee pot. If everybody could mute themselves. So you'll hear a natural time to clap twice after I sing a verse. And then there's a chorus of la la la's that you could virtually hold on to the person next to you and sway while we sing around the campfire. So I'm going to sing about the coffee pot, which is added to the campfire at this time. Ha-ruach noshevet krira, nosifa kesam lamdura, v'chach bizro otar gaman, ba'esha alekut korban. Ha'esh me'hahevet shira mivlavlevet sovev sovev ha'finjan. And ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 sovev lo sovev lo sovev lo sovev lo sovev lo sovev ha'finjan. Once more. Ha'ruach noshevet krira, nosifa kesam lamdura, v'chach bizro otar gaman, ha'esh ya'aleh kekorban, ha'esh mehalevet shira mivlavlevet sovev lo sovev ha'finjan. And ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Sovevlo, 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 sovev ha'finjan. Wonderful try. All right. And of course, another melody that everyone would dance the hora to, Rod Halayla, night is falling, night is descending. Great is our song, which penetrates to the heavens again and again. Our hora is renewed sevenfold. Okay, you could just imagine them around that big fire dancing in the hora. Rod halayla, Rod shirenu, abokei ala shamayim, shuvi shuvi, horatenu, michudeshet shevatayim, shuvi shuvi venaso ki Yarkenu and lasso, ki onim sheket hashashelet, ki libenu lemachad min holam ve'adead, ki onim sheket hashashelet. Ya la 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 la, hey ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la ya la la ya la la, ya la. Okay, and another one, another song of the pioneers, Zum Gali Gali. The pioneer is meant for work, and work is meant for the pioneer. Zum Gali Gali Gali, Zum Gali Gali, Zum Gali Gali Gali, Zum Gali again. Zum Gali Gali Gali, Zum Gali Gali, Zum Gali Gali Gali, Zum Gali Gali. Hechalutz leman avodah, avodah leman hechalutz, hechalutz leman avodah, avodah leman hechalutz. gali gali, zoom gali gali gali, zoom gali gali, zoom gali gali gali, zoom gali gali, zoom gali gali gali, zoom gali gali. If you want more, I'll give you more. Otherwise, I'm done.
Cantor, give us one more. Give us one more good one. Come on.
Okay. Ani lon lo ladati le shalom sherak yagia. Ani no ladati le shalom sherak yavo. Ani no ladati le shalom sherak yafia. Ani rotsa liok farbo. Ani no ladati le shalom sherak yagia. Ani no ladati le shalom sherak yavo. Ani no lati la shalom sherak yofia. Ani rotsa liok farbo. Chai, ken ani od chai. Ze hashir shisava, Charlotte mole ava. V'hayom ani od chai. Am Yisrael chai. Ze hashir shisava, Charlotte mole ava. V'hayom ani od chai. Ani od chai.
Beautiful. Cantor, thank you so much. So listen, we need a couple people to stay
Those
after
two
the
were a
program.
little. Sorry.
Cantor?
Those two were a little later than the
a-
chalutzim, but I threw them. Those two were a little later than the chalutzim, but I threw them in anyway.
Thank you, Cantor. So we need a couple people to stay after a program to put the fire out, and please don't forget to take out your potatoes and onions out of the fire. We don't want them to burn completely. I want to say thank you to Rabbis Pomerantz, Rabbi Davis, Rabbi Leubin, Cantor Siegel, Mason, and a big shout out to Craig Burko, who is doing all the tech work and set up the fire. Lag BaOmer is really a lovely holiday. It's not one that a lot of people talk about, but we're so glad that we had a chance to celebrate it a little tonight. We wish you the very best. Please go on the website, look at all the programs we have going. We really want to welcome our young students, our teenagers that are here with us. And we want to wish you all the best. Chag Sameach, everyone. Have a great night. Laila Tov. Thank you all for being here.